Hey there, seekers of spiritual, tangible results.
Welcome to the no-nonsense zone, where common sense meets the spiritual. I'm Jason Parks.
I'm Emma Romano, your unapologetically real spiritual guides.
We don't sugarcoat, we don't dance around the woo-woo, we just deliver the raw, kick-ass truth.
Join us each episode as we dive deep into the mystical, cut through the bullshit, and show you how to manifest the tangible results you've been craving for.
No fluff, no filters, just two mentors on a mission to elevate your mind, body and soul.
Get ready to transform your life like never before. This is Soul Aligned Results, where spirituality meets the real world.
Welcome to Soul Aligned Results. I'm energetic therapy specialist and spiritual mentor, Jason Parks. And with me, as always, is the internationally renowned trauma and relationship expert, the amazing
Emma Romano. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Today's a doozy. Let's
We're into doozy.
psychic attacks. Jason,
So we're going to get into this. Yeah.
this is going to be a great one. Okay, go for it, my friend.
All right. Just before we do, though, we've played this game before, so we just better drop it for everybody. If you want to know more about us, if you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. You know the drill. And if you want to find out more information about us, we have a website, which is soulalignedresults.com, which gives you more information about our ongoing masterclasses, workshops, retreats, so forth. Let's get into it. So psychic attack, right? Yep. We thought we'd follow up on our last woo-woo one with more woo-woo. So today we're going to talk about psychic attacks. So this is a term that gets thrown around a lot in the spiritual community. And there's a lot of elements to it and can be quite sophisticated. So I just wanted to throw out a few basic ideas, just so you can get your idea around this. Because one of the things about having any sort of power and control over your circumstances, it has to come from clarity. If you don't have clarity, you don't really have power, because you're trying to hit a target. Whenever you're doing anything in the energetic world, you are hitting targets. So if I have a very vague target, like, okay, what I'm after is somewhere over there, I've got a very small percentage chance I'm going to hit it. But if I know exactly what I'm aiming at, then I will just straight away, I'm all over it. And that's why some people are very good at clearing energetic issues in other people's fields, and some people are not so good. And it's just because the level of clarity that they're operating with around it. So one of the key points to this, I suppose, is when we talk about a psychic attack, what we're talking about is a projection of thought in an energetic form, striking another person's energetic field, their autonomy, striking that and creating an external effect upon the inner world. I know that's a lot of big words.
Say that simpler.
Say that simpler.
Say that in a more simple way. Okay, imagine if I'm doing a psychic attack on you, what would I have to do?
Well, that's what we got to break down.
Right.
Because there's a lot of different ways you could do that.
Yeah.
But essentially what's happening with a psychic attack is that you are projecting energy at me in the same way that a person can give you a verbal attack or a physical attack. A person can also give you an energetic or psychic attack.
And I'm going to mention a way that is more common and people don't know that it's common and they don't know it's dangerous. Are you ready for it? Worrying about someone.
Yeah, that's a form. That actually comes into our first one.
About somebody. I was grown up, my grandmother would always say, I worry about you, darling. I worry about you. Go, why are you worried about me, Nonnie? And she'd say, because I love you. So I thought worrying was you had to worry about somebody to love them. What she didn't understand was she was psychically attacking my energy.
Yeah.
She was lowering my energy. And I always say this, if you've got a sick kid, a sick animal, don't worry about them because they're already dealing with their illness.
Yeah.
You can't worry about them. You've got to hold them in their highest light, in their highest form of health. That's what you've got to hold that. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Because our default is to worry.
Yeah.
But we've got to come out of that. Otherwise, we're just psychically throwing psychic attacks on that person who's already struggling.
Yeah. That's right. That's actually the first place we were going to go. So that first place,
Sorry.
already there. It's about what we call that is a suppression. So what a suppression is, if you think about the idea that I'm going through my day and I'm feeling good, on an energetic level, that means that my frequency is quite high because I'm in alignment, I'm in agreement with high vibrational thoughts. I'm sitting in joy. I've got a sense of gratitude, appreciation. These are high vibrational thoughts. And when you're in a high vibration, and this is why suppression matters and why all psychic attack matters. When you're in a frequency range, what happens is it's dictating how everything is manifesting within that range. So it's dictating the kind of information that you have access to. It's dictating what manifests in your physical reality and how it manifests, the quality of it, the ease, the speed. It manifests the people that are going to be around you in both, like the soul groups, both physical and non-physical. It's the karmic process, so the deep spiritual lessons that you can access and the ease at which you can do so. And of course, most importantly, the opportunities and problems that present. So if you're holding a high vibration and somebody is in a low frequency, like worry or guilt or shame, and they project that energy on you, it's like somebody getting a big blanket, soaking it full of water and throwing it on you when you're trying to skip down the road. It's a net that just lays on you. So that's what we mean by vibrational suppression. So how do you know that you have suppressive energies present? Well, very simply, those factors I mentioned, they all change. You start to get a global change. So a global change is, I'm feeling great, everything's going well. I go to bed, I wake up the next day, everything's great in my head. And then suddenly this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens. I'm like, what is going on? My phone stops ringing. My people start canceling. I have minor car accident. I'm just going, what is happening here? So, well, what's happening here is that your frequency has dropped. So the way in which a suppression is usually put on somebody is generally through the connection to shame. So things like worrying about a person, what we're doing is we're holding a frequency of shame and we're projecting that frequency of shame onto another person. So why do we worry? Because we feel powerless. You're sick. I don't feel good about myself when I see you being sick because that makes it feel like I'm a bad parent or I'm a bad friend or whatever. And therefore my shame, I'm now getting that like a blanket and laying it on your energetic field, which now makes everything so much harder. Another aspect of that, of course, of that suppression, where you usually get suppression, is dealing with narcissistic personalities. Their sense of shame is so deep that whenever they contact anyone, whatever comes out of their mouth is a suppression because they are just dwelling in an ocean of shame. So any gaslighting, anything like that, you're going to see it constantly. And I watched a podcast recording yesterday, and it was interesting. I got asked to have a look at it and see what my thoughts were. And I was watching what was happening, and one of them was undeniably narcissistic personality disorder.
Oh, wow.
Hiding themselves under layers and layers and layers of mystical bullshit.
Oh, no.
And I watched the suppression happen in real time. It was really interesting because this person is talking in general terms. And then the podcaster said to them, oh, well, can you explain that in detail? Can you give me a literal example of how that happened? Very straightforward question. And then I watched the body language in this person. And it was just kind of like, they just suppressed them because body language was kind of like, how dare you? How dare you?
Oh, wow.
Question me about that. No, it didn't say it, but it was all the micro expression. So you watched all the jaw set for everything else. And it was like, boom. And then like that, the podcaster was like, oh, sorry, I just realized that, we're talking about flow and everything else. And I've just pulled it into this goal identity. And then the podcaster completely changed the question to make it okay for that person to avoid the question.
So interesting.
That's a suppression, right? Now we look at it, we go, okay, well, there's a, psychosomatic issue happening, but that's also an energy. So that energy is sitting on their field now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's a suppression. So we get into that. That's the first one. Okay. The second one is what we technically call a psychic attack. So from my perspective, because our perception, when we do energetic work, and as an energetic therapist, everybody's got different ways of interpreting, because what's happening is through the practice, you're going to develop your perception. But your perception is unique to you. It's a combination of factors. It's not necessarily that you're clairvoyant or clairaudient or anything. What you are is a combination of these sensory factors. So for me, I would say that I'm clairgnostic, in that when I look at it, I know what it is. That's because of my connection to spirit. So that's probably 80% of what I am in my perception, and about, almost 20% will be clairvoyant, so that I'm seeing pictures in my consciousness, representations of what it is, or what it is, which is another thing, because people turn around and say, we talked about this with entities. It's like, it's just a representation of your mind. Yeah, sometimes, and on some level, but sometimes that's what it friggin' looks like, because throughout history, every culture, everyone on earth has looked at that thing in the non-physical, and it always looks the same. So if a giraffe always looks like a giraffe, we can say that's what a giraffe looks like, because it's a giraffe, right? So with this, your perception is going to show it. So when I see a suppression field on a person, and there's different types of suppressions, but when you see that general suppression field, imagine like a big, thick blanket of snot. That's what it looks like. It's just this slop on top of somebody. And when you look at a psychic attack, well, that's a different thing. That's like a dart. It's like a little dart of nastiness. And what a psychic attack is, if I'm talking to you, Emma, and I'm not happy, when I'm talking to you, the second that I'm blaming you, what I'm doing is I'm throwing that dart, I'm weaponizing that thought on an energetic level. And they are like little darts. So sometimes when you go to work on somebody, their energetic field, they look like an echidna, because they just got all of this stuff.
Right all over them. Yeah, they're sitting in their back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, lots in the back. And they have those various little psychic attacks. So there's a lot of layers of that. And we're just going to talk about the basics today. But a psychic attack is a weaponized force. So why it matters to us is because the way it works is our energetic boundaries. Generally, most people talk about energetic boundaries. So an energetic boundary is like your skin is a physical boundary. So you have a layer of protection that sits out from your body as you think about it. You have layers of it. But basically, if you imagine that you have the physical body is the most dense aspect of you, and then the more subtle aspects are going out almost like an egg, and they're coming out in layers. Well, each one of those layers has got an energetic boundary. It has a defining protective barrier. And its purpose is to break down anything that's in alignment with it, that's not in the frequency balance with you. So it's like your immune system. If it's something that's in there that shouldn't be in there, it's going to attack it. So we're usually taught this, because most people think about it this way, that it's like a brick wall or a suit of armor. It's like it hits and it bounces off. That's not my observation of it. It's like an acid bath of really high frequency. So when a person sends a psychic attack, they are consciously or unconsciously, they are creating a form, a structure of negative energy. And it's like a dart. So it hits you. Now it's going to hit your protective boundary. And when it hits the protective boundary, the frequency that you're holding there will dissolve the structure down. So if it's strong enough, none of it gets through. But if you've got weaknesses in your boundaries, through trauma and things like that, tears that can happen, that can pass straight through, and then it will stick into energetic organs, your chakras, and all that sorts of things. So when you have one of those darts, there's some sort of bring a historical reference. The Romans used to carry a particular kind of javelin that had a very thin, long neck and a short, heavy head on it. And its purpose was not to kill people. Its purpose was to stick in their shields, and then the weight of it would pull them down. So if a person's running at you with a shield and they're hiding behind that shield, you and all your friends are all lined up in tight lines, which is how the Romans fought generally. They would just launch these pillions into the front row, and the weight of them would drag your shield down. So you'd have to drop your shield. And now by the time you got close to combat range, you don't have your layer of protection. And the Romans are behind big, heavy shields. So it was given that advantage. This is what psychic attack does to you. So when it hits you, that low frequency will hit you. And now it's adding mass and it's adding weight. And you have to hold that. So you got to spend energy holding that up, lifting your frequency up under load. And that's why psychic attacks are dangerous, because they drop your frequency. All of this is dangerous because it drops your frequency and therefore affects your knowledge, your problems, your manifestation, and so on. Is that making sense?
Totally making sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Here's the next question that I know everyone's asking.
Yeah.
One, they know how to recognize it now.
Yeah.
Because they'll just be feeling great and all of a sudden things aren't working around them. They're not feeling great. Second is, how do they stop it? Or three, how do they get rid of the ones that they think they've got?
Okay. So if you've got a lot of psychic attack going on, you probably need training to be able to get that out.
Yeah.
Right? If you're already getting hit, because the fact that it's stuck in you means it's punching holes in your energetic boundaries, right? So if that's the case, then those holes still remain. You have to have the repair work done. You have to get somebody to be able to go in deeper, pull that out, and repair it.
I do suggest you for this job.
Yeah, I am good at this job.
I 100%. Like within a minute, it's done. Yeah, because you've done them with me for years.
Yeah. So most importantly, then, if we think about our protective boundary being like an electric fence, right, that works all the time unless you turn the fence off.
That's right.
And we turn the fence off all the time.
Yes.
And we do that by getting out of integrity. And the way we get out of integrity is shame.
Yes.
So the second we see something and we get into a shame cycle about it, what do? We switch off our defense because we get out of vibrational integrity.
Can I just explain how you know that you're in shame? Shame is kind of my jam. So
That's right.
I'm the expert in shame and trauma. You'll know you're in shame the minute you start shitting on yourself. The minute you'll look in the mirror and go, oh, I don't like that. That's shame. The minute you go, I don't want to go today because they're going to say this to me. That's shame. I'm worried about judgment. That's shame. I can't do that because I'm not good enough. That's shame. I can't create a business because that's shame. The minute you start saying, I want, but I can't, or I want to go, but I better not. That's all shame. You've just turned your electric fence off.
That's right. So, and that's where most people are affected. People are usually not affected because something has punched a hole in their field.
Yeah.
They're usually affected because they turn the fence off, it all poured in, then they turn the fence back on.
Yeah.
And they don't understand what's going on. Because like, I can feel that everything's in integrity. It's like, yeah, it is. But you let all this stuff in before you did.
And now it's swimming inside the fence, the electric fence.
Exactly right. Now it's inside there.
Yeah.
So the main thing about that is, say, for example, I'm not sure what to do. Well, the more you maintain your integrity, the more you can drag your frequency up. And like the energetic boundary, low frequency energy and a construct like form, structure, cannot maintain its form in an ocean of very, very high frequency. So even though it's a lot harder, as you get into integrity and you hold that integrity, then what happens is it breaks it down. It starts to dissolve it. Anyway, some things are quite severe in the way in which they work, and they won't let you do that. So it's a little bit like what, leeches will pump coagulant into you so you keep bleeding so they can feed. So well, these things are constructed to do that. So they will hit you. A basic psychic attack is like somebody just holding a negative emotion and thinking of you. That will throw that dart at you.
Yeah.
So
Or
they're not necessarily,
which session about is, but we got to be really mindful of. So I grew up in a private Catholic school and we were taught to bitch. We were taught to gossip and taught to bitch. I'm an expert at it, by the way. My grandmother was the expert. My mum was the expert. And I've had to retrain myself how to communicate to people without talking about other people in a negative way.
Yeah.
Because I did it for 45 years.
Yeah.
And so for the last 10 years, I've been going, right, how do I talk about this person without it being nasty, negative, bitchy? Because all it really was, it was such a default program, was to you create connection with somebody else by putting that person down, and you have a commonality of bitching about this person. And I don't mean it could be somebody you know, it could be a celebrity. It could be about Trump. It could be about anything. You try having conversations without putting anyone else under the bus and see how you go. It's huge. And if you don't know how to do it, there's a great suggestion I have for you. Go on to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, how do I have conversations without being a bitch? And it will give you great pointers. I am not kidding.
Thank you, AI.
Thank you, AI. I love you, AI. It is quite amazing, especially when it's your default program. It is when you sit there and bitch about somebody, you yourself are throwing psychic attacks, and whatever you throw, you get back 3 times yourself.
And I want to explain that because that's really important, because that statement there is very common, but we don't look at why. And the reason why you get all that back is because you are in vibrational agreement with that negative energy. You are holding yourself in the frequency of it. And you might spit that little dart out and not think about it, but you hit them for a split second with that frequency. You're still sitting there. So you're still affecting your manifestation, your everything. Yeah, that's why that works the way. It's not a mystical force in the universe that's going, like an accountant that's doing an audit and going, today we've said 6 shitty things about people, so now we need to have 18 shitty things sent back to you. We'll just ship that out of the warehouse. It's not what it is. It's like you're in the swamp.
Yeah.
You're in a swamp. You've thrown swamp water at somebody, but you are literally sitting in the swamp to get your hands on that swamp water. So,
you know what I believe as well? It's not just about getting psychic attacks back on ourselves from throwing them at others. You will create psychic attacks on yourself by the way you talk to yourself and talk about yourself.
Yeah, it's a form of suppression.
I mean, that's huge. There's people say to me and I'm so big on this, one of the clearest ways that you can find out if you ever want energy, clarity, more of a high vibe system, there's 2 things that have really got to be practiced. One is the talk well about yourself and others, but eat well.
Food's very, very important.
Excuse me. Yeah, we got to get rid of the toxins. I'm on a 5-day detox. And the first 3 days were freaking hell for me because I was detoxing, and I'm a really great eater. But I was eating things that had like MSG in them, processed foods, things like that. And I don't drink caffeine or anything like that. But the migraine that I had for 3 days just from eating processed food was freaking horrendous. And I mean, bought almond milk. Almond milk is really highly processed and it has all this shit in it.
Yes.
And just taking things, I don't eat sugar, I don't have caffeine, I don't take drugs, I don't drink alcohol, I don't take any of those things. It was just simply the food that I had been eating. And the first 3 days, I couldn't move out of bed, literally. And then I woke up yesterday, and the 4th day, a brand new person. And today, I am on.
Yeah.
Like, the 5th day is incredible. And it's just another tangible result of showing me, it's the food.
Yeah.
It's the food is huge. What we feed ourselves is what we're telling ourselves and what we feel about ourselves.
Yeah. We're so sophisticated.
Very.
So sophisticated and so simple at the same time, which is the weirdness of it, the paradox that we have.
Yeah, it's true.
Very interesting. So let's look at a slightly different kind of psychic attack. So that's a basic idea of psychic attacks. Like, there are very sophisticated versions of these which come under what we would call ritualized attack, which is like cursing and various black magic structures and stuff like that. I'm only going to say this about it. Don't go near that. Right? Don't do a weekend Reiki course.
Shit. Don't start Googling.
Yeah, don't get into that, because anybody who's got enough skill to be able to set that up has enough skill to booby trap it.
And
I've never seen ritualized attack that wasn't layered with layer upon layer upon layer of booby traps.
Yeah.
And those booby traps are built. They're not for the person who's got the curse on them. They're for the person who tries to remove it. So they will cripple you if you don't know what you're doing. They will make you the target and destroy all of your defenses like a computer virus. They will just eat their way through all your protections and then just lay it open. And now, added to that, there will be like things that are like entity connection points. So these are like back doors in your energetic boundaries that allow entities to enter at will. So if you think that you've got a few problems, you start opening this up, and said you'll know what problems are. Because the amount of stuff that will pour on you.
You call up Jason Parks for that one, and you get Jason Parks to work on that one for you.
Yeah, that's the thing that I do. Yeah, so we'll leave that alone, ritualized attack alone. But I want to talk about psychic hooks. Because these are really interesting and really common. So what a psychic hook is, when we have a balanced communication, like there's various aspects of self. So we have spirit, which is a thread of the divine. We have soul, which is more of an earthbound spirit, if we can put it that way. There is the mind, which is the construct that we're working with. There is the genetic body, which is the recording system of everything that has led to this point on a physical life level.
You mean DNA?
DNA and the way it's constructed to make it look like a hand, make it look like a face. Yep, all of that. So when we look at the human body, we go, what does a human look like? And we go, well, we can draw a stick figure. That's not what a human looks like. A human is a city. And the human is really a cell. Everything that's in a human is in a cell. And the more that we understand things like epigenetics, we're starting to understand that a human really is an amalgamation of cells. And that's why I always refer to it not as the physical body, but as the genetic body, because that's what we are. We are a collection of DNA being held together into certain patterns to allow certain functions. And the body is completely functional. So, I mean, that's another podcast topic, that one. But we also have a pain body, which is the parody of sentience, made out of programs, conditioning, agreements, and trauma. And those 5 elements are really us. When I think about me, I'm actually thinking about all of them working together as a single unit. And one of the things about this, just to sort of get this back into understanding what a psychic hook is that Emma and I, we're talking to each other. If everything's nice and balanced, what's happening is, even though our minds are interacting and our physical body's interacting through speech and vision and all that sort of thing, what's happening on a soul level is that your soul and my soul, completely outside of consciousness, communicating. And they're sharing information about what they've experienced. And it's this constant integration that's happening among souls. So as they do that, they put out an energetic bridge. But that bridge is, I give you half a bridge and you give me half a bridge. Now, if the person I'm dealing with is caught in their shame, particularly if they have a sense of entitlement, if they have ethics around entitlement, around like narcissistic things where they want something for nothing, if they hold that thought, what they do is they don't put out a bridge, they put out a hook. So it's a bridge with talons in it. And its job is to latch onto you and not let you go. So when that bridge comes out on a soul level, we give little fragments of the soul energy itself, which is generally called soul fragments, and we exchange them because they're little data packages. They're like a thumb drive. So we're swapping all these little thumb drives with each other. Now, what a psychic book is a person goes, oh yeah, send me over your energy and I don't want to give it back. So they will hold on to it for a disproportionately long time. And it has to come back, but it's all of the ethics and the frequencies that they're holding that's going to dictate how long that can come back. And for some people, they can have soul fragments missing from them for decades. And if you've got an issue about soul fragments, because you start to feel like you're a Swiss cheese, you start to feel hollow. And it's the only way you can describe it. It's like I wake up, I look in the mirror and I go, it's like, where's the rest of me? I don't know what it is I'm feeling. I just feel like I'm not intact. That's a soul fragment problem.
Soul fragments are my jam. And another soul fragment thing is an immediate addiction to something.
Yeah, because you're giving an energy to something.
But you could be you could have somebody else's as well.
Yeah, exactly right. There has to be an exchange. There's always an energetic exchange.
That's right.
Yeah. So psychic books, they're a problem because they are just constantly hanging on. One of the things I want to talk about this because it comes up constantly. People are taught to cut cords. If you want to cut cords, let me tell you, I never cut cords for people. And the reason I don't is this. Often the reason these psychic books and that go out are because of what is attached to a person.
Yeah.
So if you are, what we spoke about the last podcast, if you have entity attachment, they're creating a lot of this construct. You're not creating the construct, but you're holding an energy that they're in agreement with, so they feed on that energy. And then they project it out. So you might think about somebody and they're triggering your sense of want, your sense of powerlessness. And in that, you might look at somebody and there's a bit of jealousy or envy arise in you. And they're feeding on it and they're stoking it. So what do? They go, well, I'm pulling energy out of you, and that's a smorgasbord, but everyone you contact, I get to put a hook into, and now I've got a feeding tube. So now I'm feeding on them as well. And I'm feeding on them as well. And I'm feeding on them as well. And now I've got this massive smorgasbord. That's what the entity's doing. So what happens is when you cut cords, you are cutting all of those attachments. You're cutting all those chains that are linked to you. And what do you think happens? When you go fishing and something bites on the line, you check the line. So as soon as you cut that cord, the entity that's created it goes, oh, wait a minute, that's not right. I just felt the tap go off. So they just send a whole heap more. And you end up with this constant pattern of, I cut cords, now I feel worse. And everyone goes, oh, that's because they're psychically attacking me. No, it's because you're doing dumb shit. Stop cutting the cords. Take the cords, connect them to source. They're getting what they require directly from infinite supply. And you get to move the person out from underneath it without that drama.
That's great.
They go on with their life. This continues on. So, yeah, cutting cords. Honestly, I'm so sick and tired of having those conversations with people. Get out of agreement with things, people.
Good.
So,
of agreement. It's huge. Agreements are everything.
yeah, everything.
It's
All
true.
reality.
Creates an agreement. An agreement creates an identity.
Exactly. Yeah. And nothing is more powerful in you than your identity. So, yeah.
You know, at the beginning of this podcast, you were saying how energetically, when we want to manifest, we have to be super clear because we're just stabbing into the air going, oh, whatever, and we'll literally get whatever back. It is so true. And I think this is where sometimes I'm so spot on with my manifestation because I can be super clear. But if
Yeah.
I have a limiting belief or a shame around something or some story around something, I find it very hard to be clear about it.
Yeah, because it's a formula, isn't it? Because what your conscious mind is saying, so if you're saying, I want to double my business, I want an increased flow of abundance in my life, and you've got a very clear picture in your consciousness about what that looks like, and you've got clarity, and you're like, yeah, but your subconscious goes, but I don't deserve it
Mm-hmm.
because it's attached to shame. Then that's the package that goes out into the universe. So when the universe gets the order form, it says, I need a whole heap of abundance, but I'm not allowed to keep it. We can build one of those. Yeah, that's
It's
it.
actually true,
Yeah,
Like,
that's just how it works.
I had that belief and I needed a lot of money for something. Oh, I was buying a house and I needed $40,000, I think, dollars. And I said, I need $40,000 in my bank account this week, but it's not for me. It's for an investment. I got it. I got it within 4 days. So because I went, it's not actually for me. And it was so easy to manifest if it wasn't for me.
Yeah. You got around that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
did the same thing last week because I've got Jason and I have this amazing new VA and she's working so many hours for me. And I had to manifest a whole lot of money for her wages, right? And I've got, okay, I need this amount, this amount, this amount. And this is all for Libya's wages. Bang, I got all her wages for the next 6 months in a week. I'm like, thanks.
That's it. There it is.
Now to do it for me.
Yeah. That's right. That's the hard bit, getting it so that we can accept.
Yeah. Working on it, people. I'm working on it. I say this all the time. Never put people on a pedestal. Never put people on a pedestal because this happened to me with one of my really close friends. She was a client of mine and she was in so much fear. This is about 6 years ago. She was in so much fear she couldn't leave her house and I'd have to go to her house and work with her. And she absolutely amazing. She now is a therapist. She now has created her own processes. So I taught her everything, all my courses and everything. She's even written a book. She's incredible. She travels the world. Like, she's amazing. Doing talks everywhere around the world. This woman could not leave her house, by the way, to compare. You wouldn't even know it's the same person. And she said to me, there was about 2-3 months she didn't talk to me. And I was really upset by it because we're close. She's crewed for me and, she's helped support my programs and my retreat. She's incredible. And I said, what's going on with you? She said, I put you on a pedestal. She said, but if I put you on a pedestal, it means, one, I'm less than you. And she said, you told me that you had a problem. I went, yeah. She goes, well, if you're on a pedestal, you're not meant to have any problems.
Yeah, interesting.
I have all got problems. I may not have the problems I had 10 years ago, and I may not have the problems I had 5 years ago, but if even God has problems.
Yeah, because let's look at what a problem is for a minute, because that's really important. What a problem is that you have opened a loop. You have a question that you haven't answered.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a problem is. The issue is we often look at it, we go, oh yeah, but there's all these negativity around it. It's like, well, is it big picture negativity or small picture negativity? And the thing about it is, when we open up those loops, we ask those questions, yes, we're going to get results that we don't necessarily like. And that's part of the process, because as we answer the question, we're going to open up more loops. This is how we create our reality. We do it through our problems. So you're always going to have problems, because the problem is, how do I start creation? That's a problem.
That's the problem. Exactly.
Yeah. How do I finish creation? That's the solution. So it's an open loop, closed loop. Very simple.
It's funny because one of my other practitioners, she's just run her first retreat and she's like me. She's very transparent. And she said, look, I'm having this issue at the moment. This is how I'm working through it. And this woman said to her, yeah, but you're not meant to have any problems. She goes, why am I here if you have problems? She's like, of course I have problems. Everybody has a problem. If I don't have a problem, it means I'm not creating. It means I'm probably in a coma. You know, I'm asleep. She said, everybody has problems and this woman just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And which makes me sad because it makes me think that that woman is that's a them and us.
Well, that's her problem.
Oh, that's exactly her problem. It's her problem. And it's a problem just coded in shame.
Well, it is, yeah, because that's where that comes from is exactly that, is that I can't deal with things in my life and I'm expecting that there's going to be a magical pill that will make all those things go away so I never have to deal with them.
Yeah. There's nothing outside of yourself that's going to fix you. Anything outside of you can give you the information and the knowledge, but even holding the knowledge is not going to fix you. You have to do the knowledge. You have to practice the knowledge. And this is something that's so deeply ingrained in me now. And I really feel this is where Jason and I are in our own success. And I don't mean in our business, yes, but especially at home, because I know with Jason, your number one value is home, is your family, is all your girls, and mine are all my boys.
Yep.
You've got all the girls, I've got all the men. His beautiful wife and two beautiful girls, and my amazing husband and my two beautiful young men. That's how I judge where I'm at. And we have to practice what we preach all the time. I mean, I do courses all the time. I run courses. I learn courses. I've always got my head in a freaking book. I'm always studying. And when I find something, I go, right, let me practice that. Let me really practice it. And I'll do things differently. And Jason talks about this all the time. There's no point just collecting processes.
Yeah.
Don't be a process collector. Be a process collector that does the process. It's like collecting Lego and never pulling it out of the box.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're just looking at boxes of Lego. Open the box of Lego and put the Lego together.
Yeah.
So collect the process, but do the processes. Don't just collect them. I think that is massive because in on that is what coming in underneath that is a lack of trust of self, which all comes back to shame. And shame is the open door to psychic attacks, hooks, all of those things. It's just an open door to it.
It switches
Anything else you want to say?
No, well, it switches the fence off.
Yeah.
That's what it does. We are
Fence.
powerless. We are unprotected against that sort of thing. And a person say this once, I thought it was genius. And they said, if the universe, because a lot of the spiritual community talks about, oh, the universe is benign, the universe has nothing but love for you, it's nothing but greatness. It's like, yeah, how come we're covered by so many layers of protection? Why? Everything is functional. So why is it that we have layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of protection in the non-physical reality? And the reason is the same you have in your physical reality, is that whilst it's not trying to kill us, it can kill us and will kill us. Right? So we're built to be able to withstand it. But if we don't optimize that, if we don't work with that intelligently, we're going to do dumb things. And those dumb things are how we get hit.
Yeah.
So,
We'll always receive what we put out.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in a space of nothing's happening, it's because you're doing nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing's happening, so do something.
Yeah. That's it.
Get off your ass. Guys, thanks so much for listening to our podcast. We will see you next time. Thank you again. Please contact us, private message us, email us, check our website out. We would love to hear from you. And we love you guys. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.